morning. This is Dr. Emily Otto-Tice with Purina Animal Nutrition. I am a swine nutritionist on our technical solutions team. So with our baby pig program or our weaned pig program, we have three major goals in mind. One is to have the pigs arrive and get them eating and drinking within that first 24 hours. Whether those pigs are in transit for a short amount of time or whether they're in transit for up to 12 hours, they need to have hydration and they need to get their first bite of food. And the biggest transition is the fact that these piglets are weaned off their sow on a liquid milk diet to typically a dry, highly complexed, milk-based piglet nursery feed that has a different texture, different smell, and they're just not accustomed to it. So what we encourage the barn managers to do is to take a few steps in their management and make sure that these piglets have access and know where the water is, as well as know where the feed is by sprinkling the pellets on the mat, making sure there's access in the feeder pan. We have some wonderful products that encourage early intake, such as our Altarcare gel. It's a very highly liquid, lumpy oatmeal texture that attracts the pigs through taste and smell. It has like an imprinting factor that is recognizable. It smells like their sow, it smells like the milk, and they're drawn to it like a magnet, and we encourage using that blended in with the pellets to encourage those piglets to take their first bite of feed in that first 24 hours. So our Altarcare nursery program provides two different pathways for early first nursery feeds for phase one. Our Altarcare flagship program of our pre-starters and starters include our Altarcare 100, 200, 240 complete feeds. They are all incorporating high levels of milk products such as lactose and milk proteins. They're highly digestible, they're highly complex. There's very little soybean meal in these that can sometimes cause inflammation or are harder to digest for those piglets in those first 7 days. Our other track is our AccuSix program, and this was a new technology launched about 3 years ago. It provides a longer extended budget for phase one. The anticipation is this feed is a little bit less complex than our Altarcare line, but the piglets are provided this feed at no less than 6 pounds per pig and expected to take 7 to 10 days for these piglets to consume all of that budget. And what it does is allows the time for that gut system of the newly weaned pig to transition and adapt to a more plant vegetable based protein diet. It's highly acidified. It has our intake of technologies that enhance that first bite of feed and stimulates appetite for these young pigs. And they may not perform as well in some producers' mind in that first 2 or 3 days, but by the end of the 10 to 14 days of phase one, phase two feeding, these pigs are on track and performing just as well as our Altarcare pigs fed the first 14 days. So it's an extended budget, it's for convenience, it's provided in bulk instead of bags, so that if you're receiving a large number of pigs, every pig is guaranteed to get that first 6 pounds of a phase one, and they're not struggling to catch up when they may not have gotten, the very early pre-starter of the Altarcare pellet. We have run field studies in our commercial facilities with producers to kind of do a sample test, if you will, and our Altarcare starters usually perform very well or exceed the expectations of the producers. These pigs go to this feed early on in that first 24 to 48 hours. We can start these weaned pigs out with early intakes and get them going and getting their heads in the feeder, because once they eat and get hydrated with water in that first critical week post-weaning, you're setting the stage for that piglet to be successful in the finisher. We have data that shows a high correlation with heavier weights at the end of the nursery can translate and maintain heavier weights at finishing. So we really strive to have strong starts